Hi, I'm Dr. Reenu Sharma, professor in biochemistry, and I am a clinical nutritionist also. So, I have been sharing lots of information regarding nutrition in my Health Inbox series. Today, I'm going to talk about something very, very interesting and I think not much talked about also. So, you must be aware about the glucose spikes, the term glucose spike. Now, what happens is that the glucose spikes are related to problems in the brain, that is, mental disorders, that is, like brain fog, depression, anxiety, distress, depersonalization, and uh, other kinds of things like mood swings, fatigue, and all. And it's basically well researched that when you are having a steadier glucose level, that is, you're not suffering from spikes, that is, the glucose shouldn't be spiking to very high and then coming too low and then going again very high and then low. So when these kinds of spikes are there and variability in the glucose levels are there over a um, period of you can say daily basis or continuously over a period of time, then that can result into mental problems. Okay, and when you have a steadier glucose, that is less of variability in the glucose spikes, that is, it's not going much higher and then coming too low, but it's steady. So that is basically better for brain health. Okay, so it's very interesting to know about this. Okay, now, what is basically glucose spike? See, glucose spike is that when you're eating food which has carbohydrate, so it depends upon the type of carbohydrate you're eating. So, suppose you're having refined carbohydrates, or you're having added sugar, or you're having something quite sweet. Okay, then that can spike the glucose because it's rapidly absorbed in the circulation, and that is going to flood the liver, and this over a period of time can lead to insulin resistance. Okay, because what happens is it's similar to like when you drink coffee for the first time. What happens is that that first cup of coffee or caffeine will keep you awake for 48 hours also. Okay, you will feel that thing. But then what happens over a period of time, regularly when you're consuming coffee, then that caffeine consumption then increases. That is, you require about 8 to 10 cups of coffee to keep you awake. So your body becomes habituated to it or resistant to it over a period of time. Similarly, when you are having lots of glucose spikes, regular glucose spikes, that are followed with insulin spike, because insulin will be released to regulate that glucose over a period of time, that insulin will not be able to regulate the glucose level, and that will make you insulin resistance and develop insulin resistance, and that can also make the liver fatty, and that is the starting point of chronic illnesses. So it's very important to keep the length of the spike and amplitude of the spike in check. That is, you should be eating such foods which do not spike your glucose. Okay, now another thing is these glucose spikes are very harmful for the mitochondria because they cause the dysfunction of the mitochondria, burning of the mitochondria over a period of time, because you are flooding the mitochondria with so much glucose that cannot compensate with the process of converting that glucose into ATP. So it's actually going to burn out those mitochondria, and mitochondrial dysfunction is basically the, you can say, primary stage of chronic illnesses. So you are suffering from a kind of a insulin resistance spectrum, which is drifting from metabolically healthy state to a insulin resistant state or pre-diabetic state, and then becoming type 2 diabetic over a period of time. Now, when you are in the spectrum of metabolically healthy and pre-diabetic or insulin resistant, at that time, if the glucose spikes are checked, and if you are following some healthy timetable where the spikes are not happening, variability in glucose levels are not happening on daily basis over a period of time, then the condition can be reversed before you become type 2 diabetic. So it's very, very important to understand this. Another thing is high glucose levels cause increased glycation of proteins, which is called Maillard reaction or Browning reaction. So it is actually making those proteins not much functional. Secondly, it is increasing oxidative stress in the body, inflammation. So these spikes are very, very harmful in the first place. Now, what are the hacks? 4 to 5 hacks I will tell you how to regulate the glucose spikes or prevent this glucose spikes. First thing in the morning, that is when you wake up, your empty stomach. You suppose you are craving for something to eat. Instead of grabbing some sweet breakfast like oats with milk or smoothies or fruit juices, okay, go for a savory breakfast, that is which is not sweet. Whatever according to your liking, traditional food recipes or something savory you should be cooking and eating. So that is not going to spike your glucose. If you want to eat something sweet, you can have, along with that breakfast, you can have a whole fruit like whole apple or uh, any seasonal whole fruit. That is, it shouldn't be smothered in the mixie to make a smoothie, or it shouldn't be converted into a juice. Okay, it should be eaten whole, raw, so that you are consuming fiber along with that fruit. So whatever sweetness in that fruit is having, that is the fructose it has, that will be absorbed gradually, slowly, because the fiber is going to slow down its absorption. It's going to lower down its glycemic index, so it will not give you a spike. Okay, another thing is vinegar. You can have once a day 1 teaspoon of vinegar in a glass of water before the meal. That is also going to provide you. Basically, vinegar is acetic acid, so it is good for the microbiome residing in the large intestine, and it also regulates the glucose spike, and it helps in absorbing the food. It prevents the gastric emptying, okay, very fast absorption. So it is basically leading to a steady glucose level in the circulation. Then grab some veggie platter. That is before having your lunch or dinner. You can preferably have in the lunch, that is before you are eating your lunch. Have a plate of salad, whatever salad you like, and eat that first, so that after that, when you're eating your meal, your lunch, whatever carbohydrate is present at lunch, that is not going to spike your glucose, because already you have taken a lot of fiber, which is going to regulate the glucose which is being absorbed through the intestine into the circulation. So that is also a very good thing. If you like to eat dessert, eat it in the last after the meal, that also in a controlled portion manner, in moderation. Best thing is after meals, try to walk, move, flex your muscles, especially the calf muscles, which is very, very good. It has the soleus muscle. Calf muscles have actually the soleus muscle, which is very good in controlling the blood glucose. So when you're flexing your muscles, when you're moving, walking, doing something, then that uh, exercising muscle or the moving muscle will contract, will perform some kind of contraction, and the energy which is required for that contraction will be taken to the glucose which has been in the circulation after the meal. So the muscle will be using that glucose, and the muscle is very important organ which is most insulin sensitive. So you use those muscles after having the meal. And studies have proven that when people do some kind of walking, moving after meals, then they tend to lose weight more fast, more easily, and maintain a steadier glucose better than people who move or walk before a meal. So that is much better. Okay, so you can also flex your calf muscles when you're sitting on the office chair. Okay, you can do it anytime. It's very easy and it's very helpful also. So these are the various hacks which you can practice for regulating your glucose spikes. And another thing is that, see, people know that glucose is very important for our brain, for giving us energy. So we cannot, avoid eating carbohydrates and all. That's fine. But everything in a moderation is very important. Like if suppose you water the plants, so some amount of water is required by the plant. But if you're watering the plant excessively, the plant will die. So some same thing applies to our body, that you require glucose, but that also in some moderation, in some normal concentration. But if you are flooding your circulation with too much of glucose, that will harm you, and that will prove toxic to your body also. And what harm nowadays is not only glucose, but fructose is doing more harm, because fructose is that kind of a carbohydrate which comes with glucose as in added sugar, because added sugar is table sugar is sucrose, which has both glucose and fructose. We have the glucose spike, we have fructose spikes. Insulin is better in regulating the glucose spikes, but fructose spikes cannot be regulated. And fructose is not used by any cell in the body. It's useless carbohydrate, and it's a poison for the mitochondria. It will be taken by the liver and converted into fat. So you are fattening due to fructose, you are becoming chronically ill due to fructose. Whatever spikes you're having, that is also because of the fructose. So we have to abstain from processed food, ultra processed foods, refined sugars, canned drinks, carbonated drinks, beverages, sugary, juices and all, and smoothies and juices, even homemade, so that we get more fiber from the whole foods and vegetables and fruits, and that fiber can lower down the spike and help us keeping a steadier glucose level, so that we remain healthy and we don't harm our body. So I hope this would be kind of interesting for you, and you're going to follow these hacks, and do write in the comment section how were these hacks and how it actually helped you out. So try this for a month and see the change and the magic in your health. Bye, take care.